justice for our sons and our daughters. When will it end for the whole nation?
You gotta listen to us. You're going to get killed.
Get on the ground! On the ground now! Get down!
What's going on, everybody? I'm here to do a review for the new Netflix movie entitled See You Yesterday. If y'all remember the live stream that I did with the 1LBZ and B Mouse Conscious channel, towards the end we was talking about different films that were coming out, and one of the movies that I mentioned was called See You Yesterday, and it actually debuted on Netflix this past Friday, May 17th, 2019. And when I first saw the preview for it, I said this movie looks like it's going to be very interesting because one, it's a Spike Lee film, and two, it integrated something into storylines of films that are predominantly black casted that is rarely ever seen, and that's the implementing of science. So, but also with a dose of reality. So basically, this movie is about a young girl, and her friend, a young girl by the name of CJ, and her friend named Sebastian, and they go to this science school in the Bronx in New York, where they basically, you know, they create this time machine. Like, they create like this little time, I guess you could say like a time tunnel using these backpacks, you know, to see what it's like to go back into time. And they basically, what happens is, in the movie, her older brother ends up getting killed because of mistaken identity, and they think that, you know, it kind of combines police brutality in it with into the realm of it as well. And basically, after her brother gets killed, she comes up with the idea to go back into time, to go back and try to save him. Now, the thing that happens with the time machine is they only have 10 minutes to actually get it right. And the thing with time travel, as you saw, of course, with the movie Avengers Endgame, is very, very tedious. So not only do you have to make sure everything is perfect, you got to make sure that you don't run into yourself from the time before. So it's like really, really technical how everything goes, and it actually shows you the dark side of time travel. A lot of people say if they wish they can go back into time and change something in the past, or go back and see something that they may have missed or something like that. But if you even mess up even one little thing, it can throw a whole wrench into time's plan, and it just kind of throws everything off, even just at the slightest bit. So it shows you the dark side of time travel, and lets you know that time travel isn't always what it's cracked up to be, especially when you're trying to go back and prevent someone that you love, or someone, you know, a loved one, from being murdered. And what I really liked about this film is that they used they pretty much had an all-black cast. Like, the only white person that was really in the cast was Michael J. Fox. And it's interesting that Spike Lee used him in this movie and he played a professor, because you got to think Michael J. Fox did the whole time travel thing with Back to the Future, as we all know is as a classic film from the 80s. And I thought it was interesting, and this is a little amount of spoiler, but towards the end of his part in the movie, he said "Great Scott," which is a very famous line from the Back to the Future movie with the Doc character played by Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future. So I thought that was interesting that Spike Lee actually allowed him to be in that film, even though his part was very, very short. You know, Michael J. Fox can't really do all the acting that he used to do thanks to the Parkinson's that he has, so he can't really do all of the things that he used to. But I thought that was interesting to implement him into this particular type and style of film. If it's one thing that I hope that this film actually puts into play, especially for young black youth, is to get into the STEM program. I always talk about how popular the STEM program is and why it's one of the most heavily funded programs out of any program of any school that you go to, whether it's a PWI or an HBCU. They get the most funding, and they actually, you know, if you can get a career in anywhere in STEM, whether it's science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, it's a very lucrative field. Now, I did not go into STEM, but I know some people who did and have become extremely successful. And I thought that was very good that they did this. And also, it's very rare that you have a film that's a majority black cast that has a young leading cast, because the boy and the girl, the two leads in the movie, have to be, you know, like in their teenage years, where they're interested into science and, you know, you know, finding out how everything works and all the other extracurriculars that go with it. So I took away from this more than just the reality based of police brutality, which we all know is definitely there, but it also, you know, had me learning different like science and everything like that. Now, of course, I didn't get a whole science lesson out of this because, you know, time travel, to my knowledge, nobody has actually come up with the concept or perfected time travel as of yet, but who knows what that's going to come down the line in the future. But I'm glad that it showed that that the time travel thing, that there's pros and there's cons. Like one of the cons is that they could have only been in the past for 10 minutes at a time before they had to leave and jump back into the present. So it's not like they're there for days and weeks and months at a time. They were only there for a certain amount of time before they had to leave and come back. And the plot twist in this movie was definitely one that almost brought a tear to my eyes. I don't want to spoil it for you just in case you do choose to watch it, but it was a plot twist that did happen in this movie, and it's like how amazing how everything came full circle. It was actually 2 plot twists, and both of them was like kind of sad. But all in all, I really did enjoy the movie called See You Yesterday, and I think that's a very interesting title that they actually gave the film. If I had to rate it, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. The movie's only about an hour and a half long. The only thing that I really didn't like about the movie was how it ended. It kind of left it on an open-ended type of thing. You don't know what actually happened in this particular scene. When I say left it open-ended, it means that you have to draw your own conclusion of what happened after the credits rolled. So you don't know exactly what the outcome of what happened after this particular event occurred. So I wish it had an actual solid ending so we can see how it really all came full circle. Was this person successful or were they not successful or anything like that? But other than that, I really did enjoy the film. It's on Netflix, so it's not like you have to go out and try to watch it and go to the theaters and watch it. If you have Netflix, you can go ahead and pull it up. Since it's a new movie, it should be right there on the front screen. You can be able to watch it that way. Or for some of you who have a Fire Stick, you'll be able to pull it up that way as well. Shout out to Spike Lee for this film. Very interesting film. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of, it has like a, it kind of reminds me of, I guess you could say, a mixture of any type of Spike Lee film that he had back then, like maybe Do the Right Thing, mixed with any type of sci-fi type of film like Back to the Future, and they kind of put them together as one. But I really enjoyed the film. I'm sure y'all will too. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the review for See You Yesterday down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one.